Welcome back to Radar Toad Transmissions. Please like, share, and subscribe if you feel led. Today we're going to talk about the philosophy of being perfectly flawed. There's an idea that shaped much of religious culture and psychology for thousands of years. It's the idea that something is wrong with us, that we fell, we broke, we are missing something essential. But what if the flaw is not a deficit? What if the flaw is the feature? What if we are not broken beings trying to become perfect, but perfectly designed beings whose imperfection is the point? Today I want to talk to you about the philosophy of being perfectly flawed. Many traditions speak of original perfection and a subsequent fall. In Christianity, it's often framed through the story of Adam in Genesis. In Greek philosophy, Plato imagines ideal forms, perfect blueprints beyond the material world. In modern culture, we chase optimized bodies, optimized productivity, optimized identity. But the problem with perfection is this: perfection does not move. A perfect system has no reason to change. A perfect being has no reason to grow. And a perfect world has no reason to unfold. And yet, reality unfolds. The universe expands. Stars are born and die. Cells mutate. Children grow. If perfection were static, none of this would exist. So perhaps perfection is not stasis. Perhaps perfection is process. Look at nature. A spiral galaxy is not a straight line, it curves. A tree does not grow symmetrically, it bends towards light. A fingerprint is unique because of irregular ridges. Kitsuji pottery becomes more beautiful because it was broken. Nature does not worship flawlessness. Nature generates uniqueness through variation. Variation looks like imperfection if your standard is informality or informity. But variation has the engine of evolution. In biology, mutation makes adaptation possible. In music, tension makes resolution meaningful. In story, conflict makes growth inevitable. Without flaw, there is no transformation. The traditions hint at this more subtly. In Hebrew scripture, Adam is formed from dust and animated by breath. Dust is not marble. Dust is particle, unstable and earthy. In Buddhism, impermanence is not a curse, it is reality. In Taoism, the crooked tree survives because it is too irregular to cut down. Even the Apostle Paul speaks of power made perfect in weakness. Notice that phrase? Power made perfect in weakness. Not after weakness, not once weakness is eliminated, in weakness. This suggests something radical. Weakness is not the obstacle to divine expression, it is the channel. If you believe you are supposed to be flawless, every miracle, every mistake becomes shame. If you believe you are perfectly flawed, every mistake becomes data. Shame freezes growth, curiosity fuels growth. When you accept your flaw as part of your design, something relaxes. You stop performing perfection. You start participating in becoming. The cracked places become openings. The uncertainty becomes humility. The limits become contours that give our life shape. A violin string must have tension, but not infinite tension. Too tight, it snaps. Too loose, it makes no sound. Human limitation is not punishment, it is calibration. Now here's the important part. Being perfectly flawed does not mean anything goes. It does not excuse harm. It does not glorify dysfunction. It means that your imperfection is built into the architecture of growth. You are not called to erase your flaw. You are called to refine it. Anger becomes courage when disciplined. Desire becomes devotion when oriented. Fear becomes awareness when understood. The flaw is raw material. Perfection is not the absence of cracks. Perfection is the wise integration of them. Think of breath. Inhale, exhale. If you try to perfect breathing only by inhaling, you would suffocate. If you tried to perfect breathing only by exhaling, you would collapse. Life is rhythmic incompleteness. Each moment is unfinished, and that unfinishedness is what allows the next moment to arise. To be perfectly flawed, to accept that you are rhythm, not monument. Even the universe itself is imperfect. Stars explode, galaxies collide, entropy increases. Yet from supernova come heavier elements. From stellar death comes planetary birth. From cosmic chaos comes structure. The cosmos does not apologize for being dynamic. It's perfectly flawed in motion. And you, as part of it, carry that same architecture. You are not a static statue of divine completion. You are a living expression of evolving wholeness. When you internalize the philosophy, something shifts. You stop asking, how do I eliminate my imperfection? And you begin asking, how do I work with it? You stop seeing yourself as fallen. You begin seeing yourself as unfolding. You stop trying to return to some mythical state of flawless origin. You begin embodying the sacredness of process. And this changes how you treat others too. If you are perfectly flawed, so are they. Compassion becomes natural. Growth becomes communal. Judgment softens into understanding. Maybe we were never meant to be marble statues. Maybe we were meant to be gardens. Gardens are messy. They require pruning. They require seasons. But they are alive. To be perfectly flawed is to accept that your cracks in the To be perfectly flawed is to accept that your cracks let the light in, that your weakness shapes your strength, that your incompleteness is what makes love possible. Because love requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires imperfection. In closing, you are not broken, you are becoming. You are not defective, you are dynamic. You are not fallen from perfection. You are perfectly flawed. And that is precisely why you are capable of growth, beauty, and grace. Thank you. Have a good day.